Good morning, everyone. It's really special to be here this morning, actually, with Said. Said is a very, very dear friend of many years, many years. During my years in Jerusalem, we connected very early on. I had the privilege often to go to el-Fahem, also to receive Said in Jerusalem. We exchanged a great deal of conversation together, engagement in many ways and on many different fronts. Now, we are here. We also have with us Karen Taub, who is originally from South Africa, is an artist in Boston today, and you all might remember that in early March, Darcy and I and Sherry, who's with us this morning, Sherry, thanks for coming, went to Israel for a week for the premiere of Ruth Patir's Motherland at the Tel Aviv Museum, which was an amazing moment. But in our 5 days in Israel, we really did a whirlwind to absorb not the trauma that's there today, but rather the vitality of the social and cultural landscape there. And so we had 2 days in Tel Aviv, 2 days in Jerusalem, a day in Haifa, a visit to el-Fahem, to the museum where Said hosted us really very graciously. It was Ramadan, but nonetheless, he opened the museum and hosted us. And when we were there, we saw a stunning exhibition of a Palestinian artist and a Jewish artist together in an exhibition called Family Relationships. And one of the two artists was Karen Taub. And we saw her work, and you know, nowhere in the world at the moment can you find an exhibition where a Palestinian artist of Muslim descent and a Jewish artist, in Karen's case, really from the diaspora, starting in South Africa and now in Boston, being shown together. And it's actually even more special. We had not met before this morning, although our group, Darcy and Sherry and I, had the opportunity to see what was really quite stunning work. And Karen is a member of the board of the Friends of el-Fahem Museum. She kindly offered to be here. Said is going to speak in English, and his English is much better than my Hebrew or my Arabic. But Karen is going to be helpful for Said if we find a moment where we need that. So it's really special to be here together. And I want to start at the beginning. And I'm going to say things that I didn't know before going to Israel and really starting to absorb what, 125 years of modern art in the Holy Land was all about. And I do understand it now. And I just want to say this story quickly because perhaps many of you don't know. And it's really revelatory to think about. Look, the world is the world, and in our group session in the past, we've talked about the Ottoman Empire, the end of the Ottoman Empire, Palestine thereafter, the creation of the state of Israel, and in that context, it's very valuable to think about the region and how creative making happened there throughout the 20th century and until today. And in the north of Israel particularly, there was a local community of creative makers, and it wasn't about whether they were Muslim or Christian or Jewish. They were creative makers, and they engaged together all the time. And in the period leading up to, from the beginning of the 20th century, really, until World War II and thereafter, and the founding of the State of Israel, if you were going to emigrate from Europe to Palestine, throughout that period, there was no Ben Gurion airport. You took the boat to Haifa. And the north of Israel was really where the vitality of the region was centered. It had nothing to do with Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. It was really Haifa. And what developed there throughout that period was this amazing culture where Western creative makers, mostly from Europe, and local creative makers engaged with each other. And all these figures that, if you study the history of modern art in Israel, that like Ori Reisman, Yechiel Sheni, Chaim Gross, all these figures that took the region from representation to abstraction, for example, they were all in the north and they worked together. And what's so special about Said, his own work, and the el-Fahem Museum is that it has throughout this entire period, and with all the complexity that we are seeing there today, has continued to engage all the artists in the region together. It makes them very special. And you know, we say often, we're brothers. This is my brother. We are Isaac and Ishmael, or Isaac and Ishmael, depending on how you want to look at it. And that's something that creates a very meaningful bond, especially in our creative world. So anyway, that's the background. And Said, we want to begin at the beginning. You have to tell us about yourself and your family, which really connects with the museum and the history of the museum. Where were you born? What's your family all about? Tell us.
Hello. Shalom, salam. I'm so excited to be here today. I think that my first reason to come to New York, it's to come to meet you. And I came especially to meet you because the invitation of my brother, James, and I came here especially for more things. I apologize, my English, it's not very good, but I have to look for the words sometimes. To come here, it's a very good time for me because to tell you about our project in el-Fahem that started before 30 years ago. And only before 3 months ago, we got the recognition to be the first Arab museum in Israel. For that, I look for cooperation with people, with institutions around the world, not only in Israel. Because in Israel, we have the support of a lot of museums, like Tel Aviv Museum, Israel Museum, but we look for cooperation and partners around the world, in New York especially, and other places. And for that, it's very important that this visit here opened the door for us, the first Arab museum in Israel, and with the Jewish museum in New York. I think that we have more than one reason to continue this connection in this very difficult time. The time in Israel very difficult, but it's very difficult here. But it's very difficult over all the world. For that, I think that our future, it's art, to connect people together, Arab and Jews and Christian around the world, and to tell them that the future, it's to be together, not to fight each other. This is our time. Thank you. I was born in el-Fahem in the year 1956, and I was born with inside poor family, not because we were poor family, because all the people were poor in this time, and we were a big family, 7 boys and girls, with my mother that she was only 29 years old with the 7 boys and girls, because she married when she was only 11 years old. And she knew that she has to take care for the family all the time in this situation. And she knew that no money and no food, but she has to arrange the family with all the ways that she has. Like to have she took the food from the fields around, all the grasses, and she brought them home, and she prepared food from nothing, but she gave us the time to grow up all the time. And I say that we have nothing to eat in this time. We have nothing to have like anything else. but we have the hug in my home, the life, the future we have there. Because my mother have nothing to give us, but she has the hands that she hug us all the time, the 7 boys and girls, and give us the future by the hands. For that, I say, when I established the gallery before 30 years ago, I knew that I have nothing, no budget, no people, no awareness, but I have the love to give the people. The same thing, what the situation, the same situation that I grew up in my home is the same situation here. Because we got the love from the family, we became to be art family and academic family. Not because the palace that we haven't, it's because the love that we got it all the time. For that, I say, now I have nothing, no budget to create the place of the gallery, but I have the love that I can connect each other, and I can take the people to be with me and to give my love for the community, first of all, that I love them, because I born in el-Fahem with all the difficulties of the city there. el-Fahem, it's a place of difficulties, place with conflicts, place with everything, because before the 1948, I say Nakba or Israel establishment, it's the same thing. The people till this day, they came with nothing, because they left the countries, the villages, the lands, and came to el-Fahem because they have, they came to el-Fahem refugees. And so the relate started to send their sons and daughters to study in the academy. About 60,000 people in el-Fahem now.
You know, first of all, I have to say, Said, there's nothing wrong with your English. You are incredibly eloquent and even poetic. That's the first. And secondly, most everyone here has not been to el-Fahem, and I know you brought a few images.
Oh.
Just keep talking about the character of el-Fahem, but also give a sense of what it looked like then, what it looks like now.
Maybe we can take the first slide. Yeah, okay. Arishon. Yeah. I will tell you something about el-Fahem, because it's like to know more the roots of my village before. This is el-Fahem before 800 years ago. The first people came to el-Fahem, and el-Fahem was like forest, lot of trees around, and the people cut the trees to have places for houses. And from the trees, they created the charcoal. For that, el-Fahem, the meaning of el-Fahem, it's the mother of the charcoal. Like the place who create the charcoal, and they became to be the very famous with that, because they sell it and became to be like a makor parnasa b'shulehim.
Source of income.
And for that, the name of el-Fahem. Now they don't work with that. After Israel establishment, no, before Israel establishment, they became to be farmers. You can see that in the right side, to see that. For example, this is the village of el-Fahem before, now became to be kibbutz, because in 1948, all the el-Fahem ran away, left the houses, and after that became to be kibbutz. For example, I will tell you a story about that. That my mother in 1948, she prepared food for my father to come in this village. The name of the village Al-Lajun. It's like kibbutz Megiddo today. And she prepared food to my father to come back home. And the war broke out. And people come to my mother. She was only 14 years old with child. My brother, his name is Walid. He became to be the first Arab artist in Israel after that. And she prepared food to my father to come back home. And people came to my mother, told her, girl, she was only 14 years old, run away, take your child and run away because houses destroyed and war. And my mother didn't feel frightened by the war. She felt frightened that my dad will come back home and the food, it's not fresh. And she took the food and she covered it and covered it and covered it and put it in the corner because she said, 2 hours we will come back home and the food will still fresh. They never come back home. When my father came back home to steal the food from the house, he found the house was destroyed. Like my mother, if she lost the memory and the house and the childhood and the bitachon,
Security.
the security, everything, and she became very small girl with child, with father with a husband that he was only 16 years old than my mother, with all the difficulties, but she was very positive in her life. She loved us, and she gave us the ambitions, and she hugged us all the time. For that, I say that this is the time to speak that my inspiration, it's not from the wealthy, عشر عشر أنا لو هيك عشير.
Rich.
It's not
Not
from
from
the
being
rich
rich.
life.
Wealth. Yeah.
Only from the inspiration from the love that I got from home. For that, the inspiration with me to give the people, it's to work with the people and to create the change for the people. It started from love that I got from my family. For example, this photo, it's like לא, אחרי זה, הגבול. יופי. This is, for example, the border between el-Fahem and the West Bank. In the before the 1948, el-Fahem, in this side and this side, it was the same area. The same area, the name of the same area was Palestine. And in the war, we have the border here, the border. Nobody come here, and the same families separated from each other. Before that, they connected each other. But now they can't come here and not go there. For me, it's like I call it not border, I call it the seam. And my life became to be after that the seam between being Palestinian and to being Israeli after that. Because they decided after that, after I was born, to be 100% Palestinian and 100% Israeli. Because this is mine. I live here, I have to continue connected with my roots, Palestinian, and with my country that I am there, and to fight for my roots, my rights.
My rights.
Yeah. This is the situation. My grandfather, before the war, he was in these countries inside the Palestinian Authority now, and he told the family, 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, I will come back home after the war will be quiet. But after the war was like the border, he can't come back home. He moved to Jordan, to Syria, to Lebanese, and to Syria, and he passed away before 40, 50 years ago when he was only 110 years. I never met him, and my mother lost her father when she was very young, with 2 children with her. And this is the situation with el-Fahem. עכשיו the binyan, Tareen.
You know, again, most have not been What's remarkable, el-Fahem, it's in the north of Israel, right on the border of
Yeah.
the West Bank. Now you're seeing an image of el-Fahem today. You go there, it is 100% a Palestinian Muslim city.
Yeah,
City
yeah,
in Israel, living with the vital connection to the Israel that it is in, and with a legacy of its Palestinian identity. It's a little unique. And, you know, I want you to talk really about, in your family, the path, you know, you speak about kids going to the academy, the path you took, the path your brother took. Your focus came to be building something that has become the el-Fahem Museum in order to show this connection, this resonance between Israeli and Palestinian artists, creative makers. Your brother became an artist, a very distinguished artist, creating a language that put those two different lineages together. And part of what you're about now is building on the legacy that he created. So talk about the training that took you on your path and that took him on his path until his passing.
אוקיי, only רק תמצית.
אני רוצה לדעת איך הגעת לתחום האומנות, מה הייתה הדרך שלך ושל האחים שלך ושל...
Okay, my way to art was very early because my brother Walid, the first one, that he died before 6 years ago, he started with the art when he was very young. When he was only 16 years, he understood that he the first brother in the family, and he has to go to Tel Aviv to look for work and to bring money for everybody here in home. And Walid got the love from the family before he left. But when he came back to Israel, because he after that married with English girl and has family in England, and he studied art in Israel and in England and became very famous artist in England. But in Israel, nobody know him. And when he came to the exhibition in Tel Aviv Museum, the people asked, the journalists came and saw the wonderful works of Walid. And they asked him, Walid, can you remember something in your life, event in your life that push you to be artist? Walid, my brother, didn't remind the hug of the family, because he said that it's okay. Family give hug us, it's okay. But he remind the Jewish man that he rent small room in his house. He was man that who survived the Holocaust. And he said that I loved this man because I remember him when I was sleeping in the night. This man came to my bed in the very dark and very cold nights to put another sheet to me to be sure that I feel good. And he said that this man gave me the trust and the love. And when this man discovered that Walid draw and he is good with art, he suggested him to go to study art. Because Walid believed with this man, he went with him to study art in courses in Khedera, it's nearby Tel Aviv. And after that, Walid arrived to study art in Tel Aviv, and he was the first Arab artist in Israel. After that, he took me all the time to study to be with him in the studio and in Tel Aviv, to meet the people there and the teachers, and to tell them this Said will come to study art in the future. Walid became to be the hope for me. He gave me the money in the weekend, and he brought the cake every time that he came back home. But he became to be the inspiration for me and for all of the family. And we wanted to be Walid Everybody, I wanted to be Walid, and all the brothers and the sisters wanted to be Walid. For that, I say that I am here today because the hug of the family, but because Walid opened the door for everybody. I remember the events that Walid argue with my father, that my father didn't want him to study art, because he told him that this is the time to go to Tel Aviv and to work very hard for money for the family. We need to eat. We need bread, not art. And Walid say that I bring you the money every weekend. I would love to see you respect my decision. For that, Walid opened the door, and after that, I wanted to study art, and my brothers, nobody stopped us, like Walid did that before me. Yeah.
And you know, when you all go to the el-Fahem Museum, Said has created a beautiful tribute to Walid's work, which is there.
Yeah.
And you know, Walid went to England, and you know, he absorbed geometric abstraction, and he brought a Western language back to Israel, and that's the language that he developed. And in a way, it's an anchor to the experience of being at the museum today, because that expression about bringing together East and West, when we speak about it's not just the Middle East that's having challenges today. The whole world is having challenges. We were talking earlier that politics is not going to get us anywhere. Culture is going to lead us down the path to a brighter time ahead, which is exactly what Said is doing today.
הסבר קצר.
שווליד בעצם הביא בחזרה את הקשר בין התרבות המערבית
כן.
ושבעצם עכשיו זה מה שהמחזור
כן, כן, okay. טוב, I established the gallery before 30 years ago because we were art family and we have no one gallery for the Arab people in Israel, nothing. The culture life for the Arab people in Israel was zero, nothing. And I thought that I have to, one of my cousin died, he was a very good artist when he was only 29 years old. His name is Said Abu Shakra, and he was a very good artist. And after that, 1 year after that, Tel Aviv Museum wanted to honor him and to create exhibition, special exhibition for Asim in Tel Aviv Museum. And I was so very happy to be there with many people from el-Fahem. And when I was there and saw a lot of people and the mayor of Tel Aviv and the mayor of el-Fahem, that he was my cousin, I saw all of them in the exhibition of my cousin. I was very happy. But on the other side, I was disappointed because I thought in this time, why my cousin in Tel Aviv? Why he is not in el-Fahem? In my city, I want to honor him, but I can't. I say that, never mind. el-Fahem, no, I will take him to Nazareth. Nothing in Nazareth. Never mind. Jaffa, nothing in Jaffa. I found like all the Arab culture in Israel, like they can't do nothing for ourselves. For that, I decided to create the space in el-Fahem, to have my cousin in el-Fahem, and to invite the Tel Aviv mayor and el-Fahem mayor to open the exhibition of Asim. And decided, I thought this time that if I want to be part of I have to decide between being part of the problem or part of the solution. Part of the problem, it's like only to wait. But part of the solution, you have to work. You can't wait more. And if you want to be part of the solution, you have to wake up every day and work without the feeling that you are a victim. You can't feel the victim and improve your life. Because to be victim, people will come to you one time. But you feel proud with yourself, your culture, everybody will come. I need respect. I need people to come to me, to touch my culture, to respect my narrative, to respect my pain. And I am man with pain. I am now with narrative. I am man with future. For that, I would love that people come to me, create the discussion with me about myself and about my future. Before that, the discussion between people between people inside Israel, Jewish and Arab, it was patron discussion, patron dialogue. Two levels, one here and another one here. I can't agree with that. I would love to see people come to el-Fahem to respect me and to look to my eyes. For that, I decided to be good gallery with good culture, with good quality and professionality. And we started 2 people, me and my brother. But it was difficult with that because I only speak about this photograph. 3 years after that, we have Yoko Ono in our gallery for the solo exhibition, and she took us up and up and up over all the world, and people from this minute came to el-Fahem to be together because she opened the dialogue for everybody inside Israel and outside Israel.
So I wanted you to come to this image because, there's always talk, not action. And 1999 was very magical because we in the Israel Museum brought Yoko Ono to do a solo exhibition. And exactly at the same time, Said invited her to do an exhibition in el-Fahem. It was Thanksgiving 1999.
Yeah.
It's actually when we first met because we did this together. And it was really remarkable. You really have to absorb. Tell everyone who's in this picture. Who's in this picture in 1999 in el-Fahem in the north, just on the border of the West Bank. And exactly at the same moment that we were showing it.
The right side, he is the mayor of el-Fahem, Yoko Ono here, and Shimon Peres, he was the number 2 in the government, and this one, the left side, when I was very young, yes. 3 years with the opening of the gallery, and I was so happy. And you know that Shimon Peres came and he wanted to be with Yoko Ono because he wanted to film him with Yoko Ono because his documentary film. And he came and he requested us to bring הוא ביקש להביא יונות כדי להפריח יונות באותו יום.
Peace doves.
הוא ביקש להפריח יונות באותו יום.
To release peace doves, white peace doves.
ותגיד להם, אני אחר כך ראיתי את הסרט שהוא עשה על עצמו עם יוקו אונו, והוא מופיע שם עם הפרחת היונים, אבל העלים את el-Fahem מהסרט שלו.
Oh, so when Shimon Peres' documentary came out, the clip of the release of the peace doves was visible, but el-Fahem was absent.
Yeah. And I say, אם היית, אני אומר, אם היה שם, כאילו זה מהסרט של יוקו אונו באום-אל-פחם, היה עוזר לקדם אותנו תרבותית, אבל הוא לא רצה לעשות את זה.
Yeah, so if he had included el-Fahem in part of the documentary, then it would have helped the museum, but at the gallery at the time. But he decided to delete it from the documentary.
And it was a magical moment because every moment in the Middle East is full of tension, and these 2 exhibitions happened together. In both settings, there was a wishing tree where people could make a wish and attach it to the tree, one in Jerusalem, one in el-Fahem. It was as if these 2 venues were the the hubs of cultural vitality for Israel. And you know, there was no questioning about it. It was happening in Jerusalem, and it was happening in el-Fahem. And because of Yoko Ono and her visibility internationally all over the world, there was a message delivered from the region. It was amazing. And his place was barely 3 years old at the time.
שתי התערוכות קרו בו זמנית.
כן.
בירושלים וזה, ושזה היה בעצם מסר לעולם.
כן. כן. and תגיד להם שגם כאילו זה פתח פתח it was the open us for special dialogue and cooperation with James Snyder and the Israeli Museum. And after that, 1,000 pupils from el-Fahem, all of el-Fahem, came to the museum in Jerusalem to work there and not pay, not for buses, not for the tickets there, nothing. It was like a gift for them to come one time to the museum, and after that we create sculpture, a garden in el-Fahem, and all the costs by Tel Aviv Israel Museum, and it's like to open the door for more things, yeah. And I would love to tell you that my vision, it's to be together, because I can't be alone. I don't want to be alone. I want to bring myself with all the things with mine, like the pain, the narrative, and I would love to respect your narrative, your pain. I would love people come to el-Fahem, touch me with everything, to respect me. I need respect. To give the respect and the touch, it's nothing cost. It's only to say that I want to touch you and to give you the respect. It's nothing. I think that the problem today, because people don't know how to do that. It's very simple, like that. And I think that first of all, I wanted to give the respect to my community, because they are very simple people. I don't want to accept from them to be like artists. No. I have to come to them, to their alleys, to their houses, to their points, and to be with them, because I grew up there. I know them. For that, I created a lot of projects that I can bring them to my museum, my gallery. One of the projects, it's like to create exhibitions in the houses of el-Fahem. 10 houses, like 70 artists from all of Israel, Jewish and Arab, and to turn the houses to be galleries for 3 or 4 months. Many hundreds of people from all of Israel. It was the chance for them to come for one time, to come inside the Arab houses to see what happened there. Like, it was a very important thing, because I give the respect for the people inside. The people came and said that I discovered the clean house, the good gardens, the good food, the good people. Like that, I say that I would love, because I said, תגיד להם שאני חושב שהבעיה היא בחוסר ידע.
There's a lack of understanding of each other, and that's part of the problem.
ותגיד להם שאני לפעמים רואה התפקיד שלי להיכנס למקומות חשוכים ולפתוח את האור.
Said sees his role as going into dark places and turning on the light.
כן, ואני פותח אור.
He's turning on the light.
And you know, it's also, and this is what we've experienced together, it's about creating familiarity and intimacy where there has not been either of those experiences in the past, and using culture as a way to do it. And in the museum, you do all this programming that gets people into the museum, and as you described just now, takes people from the museum into the homes and the city life of the city. And just to look quickly at several of these examples of the programming that you do that brings everybody from the community to the museum and gets the museum into the homes and lives of the community.
כן, תסבירי.
שאתה מכניס אנשים לתוך בתים של אנשים בעיר, וגם אתה מביא תרבות לאנשים, היכרות וחיבור.
כן, בדיוק. It's true, yeah. Because people come to el-Fahem and after that they connect us to their friends by the Facebook and other things. And people after that come back with families and friends. Now I can only tell you that we have about 50,000 people come to el-Fahem every year. 50,000 kids and all the ages and Jewish and Arab. A lot of groups from academy, from the university, from the schools come. And I think that I give myself all the time for everybody. Everybody come, I am for him. I am the first one to give him the coffee, my coffee, because I feel that when we drink coffee together, we look to the another eyes and we discover the another side by coffee. And it's like to respect them for that and to give them the attention. I think that we have a lot of friends inside Israel from all the places. The reason is the coffee. People come to feel that we love them, respect them, and after that I have with them the tour inside the museum, tell them what happened inside. Sometimes I think that I discovered the best friends by the tours with people that I never met them before. תגיד להם שאני קראתי פתגם מאוד יפה. קראתי משל מאוד יפה.
He read a beautiful verse.
כן. המשל הזה אומר שאני, יש לי אלפי חברים בעולם כולו.
That he has thousands of friends in the world.
חלק פגשתי וחלק אפגוש אחר כך.
Some I've met and some I will meet later.
את האנשים פה אני פגשתי היום, ואתמול חשבתי שאני אפגוש אותם אחר כך, אבל הנה פגשתי אותם.
And he thought that he would meet you sometime and now he's met you.
ואני מזמין אותם להיות חברים שלנו.
And he wants you to be his friends.
ולתת לנו אנרגיה חיובית, זה הכי חשוב.
He needs positive energy.
You know, Said, I have a few more questions, and then we'll be here so that you can come and just talk to us after we conclude. You know, you talked about coffee. It's not just a metaphor. It's like a reality. All this about food. Do you remember Said's first response to my question was about food and making sure there was food. And there is something about this intimacy, and you know, it sounds simple in a way, just having someone in a home when they've never been in a home of another, or to share coffee together. It's a very intimate experience. And I want to cover two things. One is something that el-Fahem, that the museum is doing, which is very important, is preserving the past, preserving the story of the past, not just looking ahead. And the historical archive there and the photographic archive there have huge meaning. And again, it comes back to the beginning of the 20th century. You had all these photographers coming from Europe, and they were meeting and engaging with local photographers who were, you know, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, who were working in Palestine, in the region, making new photography, and suddenly they were joining with these avant-garde photographers coming from Europe and making a unique century of photography. And it started an archive that is really another impressive dimension of what Said is doing, and it also connects to preserving the history there.
Okay, before 15 years ago, was with my mother, and she suddenly started to open the heart for a lot of tales about the past, difficult tales that she never opened that for me. And she felt that she can open the heart after we married and we have like a special life and like that. She felt now that she can give the time for the tales. And I didn't know how my mother, that she have tragic life. Her mother died when she was only 5 years old. All the brothers and the sisters died when they were very small, and she stayed alone with his only one brother. All the family, and father became refugee and like that. And she started to tell me a lot of stories, tales. And I thought that it's difficult tales, but it's very important tales. How this woman survived the life with this difficult history. And she has the power to take us from the ground to empower us to be academic family. It was very important for me. And I found myself feel my mother, not for me, for my children. And after that I say, there are many pieces of memory that I have to collect for my mother, because she mentioned this man and this man and this man. I started like to interview and to arrive to all the people that she mentioned there. And after that I say, why only my mother? There are hundreds of elders in my city, women and men, in the age of 80, 90, 100 years. Why I don't have to go there and to preserve the history for them? Because our history go all the time. Nobody do that, nothing. And I started, decided to go to the first man tomorrow. And after that, it took to me 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, this man died. And was very sad. This one was a man who knew a lot of things. And he can give me a lot of information. And I cried about him. Because I said that this man, he died, but the memory died. After that, I say, I created the archive and say, we will not cry about man who died. We have to cry about the history that we can't hear them again. We have to work very quickly now to arrive the people in their houses before something will happen with them. And we started to work. About 600 of people, we filmed them in their houses, and more than people, we filmed them, and thousands of photographs we collected from all over the world about el-Fahem from the age of 19th century to this time. Thousands of photographs collected from there. Now 98% of the people that we spoke with them, not in life, but now the history here. Why? Because I told you, because before that I would love to see people respect me, touch my pen and touch my history. I bring my history to them and to tell them, don't feel fear from me and from my history. Please, touch my pen, I will touch you. And for that I say that I believe with dialogue, but the dialogue have to be equal. When I bring my history and I feel that you feel interested to be with me and to respect me, I can give you everything. For that, the history of mine was very important. And when my mother was very ill, and we brought her to be in my home, And I knew that people from the same age of my mother will come to separate from my mother because she was very ill. And I only imagined that the people who come to separate from my mother, they will speak about the past, about childhood, about the family, about when they were very young. And I put the camera in the front of my mother and I filmed all the stories that people came and spoke in this room, 25 hours. It was very important, like to collect the memory of my mother. It's not my mother, it's the history of the Palestinian people before 1948 and what happened after that. It was very important. Like I say that I suggest you, if your mothers, your grandmothers, grandfathers, please go there and film there, because one time you feel that you miss these details and you will find it for yourself and your family. Yeah.
You know, listening to you, we've spoken so many times over the years, and it's deeply moving because Said isn't just talking about his own culture. He's recognizing that in each of us, you have this genetic genealogy that is your version of this same experience. And, you know, listening to you, and it's like it's always starting with food, or then it goes to coffee. What I want to say about you is culture is the food that nourishes your vision. That's the first thing. And the second thing, you know, about respect, the fact that the State of Israel this past year has recognized el-Fahem Museum officially as a museum in the state is an indication of the respect that you're getting for what you're doing. And for us to be collegial like this, for such a time as this, for the two of us to sit and have a conversation like this is hugely meaningful. And I know you have hope. Yesh lecha tikva. And it is so important to hear that and to hear it from you. And again, we'll be here, but I want to thank you for coming. And we would be remiss if we did not mention that your wife is traveling with you. Just stand up so that everyone can. And it's really great to have you here. Toda lecha.